Hey there, welcome to another episode of Learning English with Celebrities. I am Mandeep and you're watching Fluency Goals. The celebrity that I have picked to learn English with today is an Indian politician, a diplomat who has amazed the world with his English language proficiency, and when he speaks, even he can beat the Oxford English Dictionary. It's none other than Dr. Shashi Tharoor. Let's begin the learning.
There's, for example, a word for taking a malicious pleasure in the misfortunes of others. And there is a word in English called epicaricacy, but no one uses it. It's called epicaricacy.
Epicaricacy. Well, I believe Dr. Tharoor has efficiently explained the meaning of this word. Epicaricacy means taking pleasure in misery of somebody else. So when you feel that bit of secret happiness when somebody suffers from some misfortune, that feeling can be termed as epicaricacy. Let's use it in some sentences. I know it's wrong, but I felt a bit of epicaricacy when my rude co-worker got caught lying. There was a little epicaricacy in her smile when her rival's project failed. Sometimes that smile is a telltale in itself. It cannot hide the pleasure that you feel secretly at somebody else's failure, isn't it? It's natural to feel epicaricacy sometimes, but we should try to be kind. Moving on.
I've been too fond, perhaps, of the word defenestrate, which literally means throw out of the window. Defenestrate.
Defenestrate. Now, this word means to throw something out. Now, it can be used literally to throw something out, or it can be used figuratively, metaphorically as well. Let's use it in sentences in both ways. First, literal meaning. So if you buy an expensive iPhone and it suddenly becomes non-responsive, you feel like defenestrating it. So you feel like throwing it away. I had to resist the urge to defenestrate my alarm clock this morning. That means you simply just wanted to throw it away. Now this was the usage in literal sense. Now let's use this word in figurative sense. Let's defenestrate that outdated idea and try something new. So you just simply want to get rid of that outdated idea here. Sometimes defenestrating the negative thoughts is the healthiest thing you can do. So here it simply means getting rid of the negative thoughts. Moving on.
A story that was transmuted in my mind into something totally different. Because, the Mahabharata was told and retold for 800 years, from roughly 400 BC to 400 AD. That was transmuted in my mind. Transmuted.
Here he says transmuted in my mind. So this means completely transforming, changing its form or nature. Now this is in context of an idea. So when some thoughts, some feelings or some idea completely changes itself and transforms, it can be said that the idea or the feeling got transmuted into something else. Let's form some sentences. Over time, her sadness transmuted into strength. That means the sadness completely changed into another opposite feeling, that is the feeling of strength. With practice, anxiety can be transmuted into excitement before speaking in public. And trust me, many public speakers, they have actually mastered the art of transmuting their anxiety into looking like excitement on stage, so the audience doesn't feel it. Let's move on to the next one.
So I invented a Ved Vyas, who's this cantankerous old politician. Cantankerous.
If you want to describe someone bad-tempered and argumentative, and it becomes difficult to deal with that person, you can describe that person as cantankerous. Let's say cantankerous old man. So you're talking about a grumpy old man who is fixated on his own ideas and who is completely unwilling to accept new ideas, thoughts, and it becomes really difficult to explain the things to the person. And because of this, the person is very argumentative and becomes irritated. Let's form some more sentences. My neighbor is so cantankerous, he argues about everything. So that means my neighbor is very irritating and very argumentative. She becomes cantankerous if she misses her afternoon nap. So many people are in the habit of taking a siesta, enjoying a siesta, and they become cantankerous when they miss it. Siesta is another word that can be used to talk about short naps, short afternoon nap. Let's move on to the next one.
In his dotage and in his anecdotage, who is dictating his memoirs of the freedom struggle, in his dotage and in his anecdotage, in his dotage and in his anecdotage,
in his dotage, in his anecdotage, in his dotage, in his anecdotage. We'll try to understand this phrase in its complete sense in itself. In his dotage, dotage simply means old age. So when you say that somebody is doing something in his dotage, you mean to say that they are doing it in their old age. Now in his anecdotage, try to relate it to the word anecdote. That means the past stories or stories from the past experiences. So if somebody is doing something in his anecdotage, that means he is trying to tell a lot of stories from the past. So anyone who is in the habit of retelling stories from the past is in his anecdotage. Let's use it in sentences. He's only 45, but the way he reminisces his good old days, you'd think he's already in his dotage and in his anecdotage. So that means the way he speaks about his good old days, like his life has already passed, you feel that he is in his old age and he is already retelling the stories from the past. Let's take another sentence. In his dotage and in his anecdotage, the professor became a legend for turning every lecture into a series of unforgettable stories. Many professors who come with a lot of experience and they are in the habit of telling stories from their past experience, they become a legend and their lectures become quite interesting because of their dotage and anecdotage. Let's move on.
Nobody else can be you. So if you've got some sense of who you are, if you can be anchored in yourself and then be the best version of that, then no one can ever accuse you of letting yourself down or letting the world down. And if you can be anchored in yourself, if you can be anchored in yourself,
to be anchored in oneself, to be anchored in oneself. Now, if somebody says that they are anchored in themselves, or you say that I'm anchored in myself, it simply means that the person is stable, he is confident, he is emotionally stable and very self-assured. So if you want to convey the idea that you are very confident, you are very stable in your mind and you have complete belief in yourself, you can say that I am anchored in myself. She is calm under pressure because she is anchored in herself. Meditation helped him feel more anchored in himself. Moving on to the next one.
There was an American television show when I was still in America about 20 years ago called ER. Have you heard of it? Emergency Room. All right. So when the first pilot came out of ER, it got panned because critics were saying, who has ever heard of an emergency room in an American hospital without an Indian doctor? So that's how widespread the belief was that Indian doctors are indispensable in American hospitals. Indian doctors are indispensable. Indian doctors are indispensable.
Indispensable. Indispensable. Now, indispensable can be used to describe something or someone that is absolutely necessary for functioning of something. Let's say an employee in an office without whom certain processes cannot function and the office comes to a standstill in the absence of that employee. You can say that employee is indispensable to the organization. So that thing or person without whom you can't seem to manage something, that is indispensable. Our phones have become indispensable parts of our lives. Good friends are indispensable in hard times. Moving on to the next.
Actually, but at the same time, you don't want to be stereotyped as just that. Actually, but at the same time, you don't want to be stereotyped as just that. Actually, but at the same time, you don't want to be stereotyped as just that.
To be stereotyped. To be stereotyped. When you are stereotyping someone, or you feel that someone is trying to stereotype you, that means that people are becoming judgmental, and it is an unnecessary judgment about you or something just because of certain appearances or from where you come from. So if somebody judges you unfairly because of some preconceived notions, they are trying to stereotype you. Let's understand it better in the usage of sentences. Women are often stereotyped as bad drivers, which is so unfair. So it happens, no? People presume that if it's a woman driver, they just assume that she is bad at driving, irrespective of actually knowing about her driving skills. Don't stereotype people, everyone is different. He felt stereotyped because of his accent. So people, they judge you. You feel like they are judging you. They are trying to stereotype you because of your accent. Whereas your English might be really good. Moving on to the next.
That perhaps the most important thing is what you can call resilience. That is, everyone will know setbacks in life. Everyone will fall. What you can call resilience. What you can call resilience.
Resilience. Resilience. Resilience can be simply described as your ability to recover from setbacks in life, the ability to bounce back from the challenges that you face. Good sportsmen often show a lot of resilience. In spite of losing some match, they try to work hard on their skill and develop it to make their comeback stronger. Life isn't always easy, but resilience keeps you going even when you feel like giving up. So that was all about today's lesson. I hope that you enjoyed learning new words and phrases with Dr. Shashi Tharoor. If you have liked it, then please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and share this video with as many people as you can. I'll see you next time with another lesson. Till then, happy learning.